Hey guys, it is Mike from Baltimore Rides here, wrapping up Sunday and the week. It is Sunday, December 3rd. I told you guys last night that it would be a quick one, and it definitely is. It's pretty early in the evening. Excuse me, I only had a few trips to get. I had to just basically finish out my quest, so that's really all I was intending to do. I was not really planning on working today. But I did take my son to the dinosaur thing this morning. We had a blast, him and I. I am definitely short on sleep because I got home late last night and then got up early to take him down to Baltimore. So yeah, so that was the reason for me just getting out real quick, getting it over and done with, and then getting out of Dodge before my body starts basically shutting down. But you know, that's kind of how it goes. I knew I had to make an arrangement to be able to do what I wanted to do with my son today, and that's the flexibility that Uber offers, is that you can grind, you can do long days, you can switch your days off, you can do, you can be adaptable as the moment comes, or you can plan in advance, and this is kind of both. But I had a great weekend, really strong weekend. Last night's numbers were good. Friday night's numbers were phenomenal for the long day that it was. And my final numbers for the week, because today is really just a joke. I mean, I did 5 trips for $30, I think it is, just to get the 5 trips for the quest money, really. But the final numbers for the week are 1323. So 1,323 with Uber, and I think like $70 with Lyft. Now, obviously, out of that 1323 comes my lease payment, the 124, and then I think I used the gas card once for like $20, $19. But so it's like 11 and change payable to me. But that's great. That's great for 112 trips. So it's a really good average. 1,300 for 100 trips is great. I mean, it's really good average. It's like $10 plus average per trip. And the quest money is really what makes the difference, guys. The $28 or 28 trip for $85 quest Monday through Thursday, and then 190 for the weekend. So $290, whatever it is, $285 of just extra money. You do that math, so let's round that out to $300, and I did roughly $1,200. That's a quarter. 25% of my pay is just bonus, is just quest. 25% of what I made this week is just bonus. And round numbers, but put that in perspective. If I had done this very same week, the very same trips in Baltimore without quest, I would have made roughly $900-ish. Roundabout numbers. So $900 to $1,000. So you kind of put that in perspective, that basically Uber gave me $300 for nothing, for doing what I'm already doing. Now, yeah, I had to do it around the times they wanted me to. I had to do 65 trips in basically 3 days, in Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I had to do so many trips Monday through Thursday. But look at it this way. Work your pay plan. And I was telling a customer just yesterday about this. Be smart, work your pay plan, and take every free dollar they're willing to give you. I'm not a really big fan of the whole $3 per rush hour trip promotion. I think it's a nice little pat on the back, but we all know nobody's doing 16 trips in a 2-hour rush hour block. I mean, it's just not possible. But if you can do 4 trips, 5 trips maybe, in a rush hour block, it's an extra, whatever, $20, $15, whatever it is. It's extra money. It's extra money you didn't have before. Quest, hands down, there's no reason not to pursue Quest. Now, I'll be honest, when I was getting the 60 or 70 trip Monday through Thursday quests, they're brutal and they're near impossible. They're not doable in 2 days, during a weekday, because the volume of rides is less. And they were just, they were impossibles. They really were. I mean, I would have had to work so hard Monday through Thursday that I would not have been able to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday out of exhaustion. And I'm not going to do that. So, because Friday, Saturday is my breadwinner days. So, you know, I'm glad that once they saw that I scaled back my driving in Baltimore, in DC, they've scaled back their quests for me. Now, this Monday through Thursday, it's a little bit more. It's 30 trips for 80 bucks instead of 28 trips for 85. So they're already kind of, you know, fiddling with the numbers a little bit. But I'm okay with that because I still think that's doable. And that's, you know, that's my strategy. I mean, I had 2 rough days in Baltimore, possibly due to the holidays, possibly due to the weather, you know, not really sure where I want to pin that on. But if I can do the same 15 trips a night in DC, Silver Spring, and I'm going to come back to that for a second because I have a thought there. You know, 2 weeknights of like 15-ish trips a night, there's my 30 trips, and then I made an extra 80 bucks that I didn't expect to make, you know. And if you do that same kind of rough average, that $10 average per trip, you know, 30 trips is 300 bucks, and then you add $80 on top of it. Now you got $400 roundabout for 15 trips. It's good for 30 trips. It's good math. So that's that. So now you kind of know how I did, and you know how I plan to do this week. Here's my little gem of knowledge for the night. I've discovered that unless you're in DC itself, down in the heart of DC, working a specific event, whether it be a game, a concert, bar closing, which to me, bar closing is really 11:30 p.m. to 3 a.m. It's a very short window. It's not all night, but bar closing is, let's call it midnight to 3 a.m. in Adams Morgan, DuPont Circle, Midtown. Or you're working a game or a concert. Being in the heart of DC is deadly. It's deadly because a lot of those folks right now, while the weather is mild, are walkers. Now, what I've discovered is, and honestly, I think you guys already know it, but I'm going to say it anyway. The inside edge of the 495 Beltway is where the money is. Now, what I mean by that is, you know, you've got to be inside the 495 Beltway to really be in the greater DC, Baltimore, the greater DC zone. But you've got Bethesda, Greenbelt, Silver Spring, College Park, Hyattsville, you know, the list goes on. You've got all these communities kind of like right around the edge. On the Virginia side, you've got Arlington, Alexandria, Fairfax, Tysons. You know, there's a bunch. They're inside that 495 circle, but they're not in the heart of the city itself. They're not in DC proper, and they're especially not down in the congested part of DC proper. And the reason why I think this works is because the majority of the drivers, whether it be taxi, Uber, Lyft, whatever, they're all working downtown. They're working the mall, Constitution Ave, they're working Midtown, DuPont Circle, they're all flooding over to Adams Morgan and U Street and that area late at night. And then you sit and wait and wait and wait. I drove down U Street like 4 times last night without getting a single ping. And that's damn near impossible. And what it tells me is not that nobody's requesting rides. It tells me that there's so many vehicles in the area that the rides just aren't going to me. Because there's people closer to wherever that particular passenger was. And so if you get out into the burbs, you drive up Georgia Ave, you drive over to like East-West Highway, you know, Wisconsin Ave, you kind of get out into the edges, but you don't go too far. You start getting these people out in suburbia. You know, it's kind of city, suburbia, that like the tidal zone between those two, that are moving around still. A lot of them are moving back and forth to the city, So you might be taking people to dinner, you might be taking people to work, you might be taking people to subway stations. I did a lot of that the past couple nights where people get Uber rides to the subway and then take the subway a gigantic distance, you know, whether it's to work or whatever. I think that's the sweet spot. I think that's kind of like the zone where you're going to find your hottest amount of consistent rides that are not minimum fares, and they're not going to cost you a whole lot of time in traffic. Because that's the tricky part of DC is, you know, if you're just stuck down in Midtown, there's light after light after light, and it's congestion late at night because there's all these vehicles moving around, especially on the weekend. But if you start sneaking out a little bit further into the burbs, you know, you get into that zone where most of the people aren't, and the few people that still are remaining, they all need rides, and there's not as many cars out there. So then you become a more available, you know, option. Uber, Lyft starts sending you rides quicker because there aren't as many, you know, competitors. So if you are ever in a frustrated spot, try that. That's going to be my new strategy when it dries up in the city. That's where I'm going to go. During rush hour, that's where I'm going to be. Now, it's not always going to work. Sometimes you're going to get a ride that sucks you into the city, or takes you to the airport in the middle of rush hour, or takes you down to the heart of downtown in rush hour. And I mean, and then you're trapped. You might as well get a ride in the city and hope that it takes you back out. But just know that as many rides as you can get out in the edges of the Beltway without getting pulled in, that's gold. That is truly gold. So that's going to be the little gem I leave you guys with. And I'm going to tell you one last thing. Right now, guys, the airports are a trap. I'm just telling you. Reagan, Dulles, BWI, the queues are long. This is travel season. A lot of people are sitting at those airports waiting for rides. And I mean drivers like us. 80 queue in a Reagan airport is, you know, DCA is crazy. BWI, the numbers are always monstrous. I mean, I don't know what to tell you there. I avoid BWI like the plague because the queue, the lines are just so long. Even Dulles, the last couple times I've been out there, they have not been quick moving queues. So it's a trap, guys. If you get a ride to the airport, great. Leave your app on and hope that they give you a ride right from departures. Hope that you ping right there in the terminal and you don't have to go sit in the queue, because if you do, I'm telling you, don't waste more than 20-30 minutes there. You know, just don't. If it's not moving lightning fast, just get the hell out. Especially in the city, especially in Reagan. Just go to Crystal City. Go over to Arlington. Just jump across the bridge back over to Navy Shipyard or the wharf, you know, right across the river, and you'll start getting ride requests. Don't sit at an airport wasting time, because that's the one thing we don't have a lot of, is time. And if we're not getting four trips an hour roughly, then you're losing money. Then you're spinning your wheels. And I don't know how many hours I clocked, I'll be honest. It's the one piece of math I don't know. I just didn't look before I turned on the recorder. But I know I've worked a crap ton of hours lately. And I know that a lot of those hours were productive, but I think a lot of those hours weren't. Saturday was frustrating. There was a lot of dead time, you know, between like 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. And then Monday through Thursday, guys, I pulled my teeth out. I mean, it was just brutal. There were times where I was just driving myself crazy. So, you know, I'm like you guys. I'm always looking to improve. I'm always looking to be more effective. And that's some of the things I've been thinking about. Now, looking down the road, guys, there's a couple things you want to consider. You want to look at your calendar for December. You want to decide what family things you've got going on, what weekends you know you're going to be going to parties or spending with family or going to events. Because if you're not thinking ahead and saying, okay, I know I'm off that Saturday, what am I going to do to make up for a Saturday's business? Then you're going to get yourself into a pickle. You know, like I know the weekend of the 16th or whatever that weekend is in December, my daughter's Nutcracker performance where she's dancing. I know I'm not working Saturday or probably even the Sunday. I might work like a 3-4 hour night late at night those nights, but there's performances in the afternoon and the evening, and there's all the kind of stuff that goes around that when you got a kid that's actually on stage dancing. So I know I'm not going to have great chunks of time, and you know, Saturday and a Sunday. So Saturdays are roughly worth, you know, they're worth $250 on their own. But then when you subtract out a $190 quest, and really you think about it, that day and now all of a sudden is worth about $350. You subtract out a Sunday and you'd lose another $150 to $200. So you got to make up 500 bucks. Where are you going to make it up, and how are you going to make it up? So start thinking about what days you're going to lose, what prime days especially, and how you're going to make up those dollars. And then my last, well, I'm not even going to touch this. I'll touch the next thing on the next video because I do have one more thing I want to talk about. But I'm going to leave you guys with this because it's 16 minutes in, and I don't want to make this video too long. But it was a great week, guys. Thank you to everybody that was chit-chatting with me, whether it's calling or texting or messages. You know, a couple of you guys had some bad stuff happen. You know, somebody got basically kind of jacked. They were doing, I think, an Uber Eats delivery, and they got jumped. So that's not good. You know, a couple of you guys had some fender benders. So, you know, just be mindful, guys, that there's more people on the road. There's more people doing crazy crap. I think the partiers are going to be, you know, holiday season is actually drunk driving season, so we got to be mindful of the cars around us. You know, we're all good drivers. It's the people around us I don't trust, and we have to watch out for them. And so, you know, that means giving yourself a little bit extra space between the cars to either side of you or in front of you. Or if you see somebody that's weaving, just back off and give them some room, because you don't know what they're capable of. You know, I've seen too many accidents in the past couple weeks, and you know, just driving on the road, but also heard about too many accidents with other Uber drivers. So be careful. And then our New Year's get together, I think I'm going to stretch it out and actually make it the first week of January. I think we're all going to be so busy with December and then working New Year's Eve that I think a lot of us, you know, it's not going to be really feasible or realistic to round a lot of us up. But I think that first week in January is probably going to be a slow week, because a lot of people will be coming down off the holiday madness. And, you know, maybe a Tuesday or a Wednesday in there, you know, we can get together somewhere. So I'm still trying to kind of come up with what I think is the right location, you know, just in terms of town. And I want to say it's somewhere like north of DC, but not too far north. And, you know, I just don't know where yet. So, you know, more to come. It's only December 3rd. I need to do my homework on that. But, you know, thank you guys for all your feedback. Thank you for the new folks that subscribed. You know, there's some of you guys out there have some great ideas, and they kind of, you know, we bounce them off each other. But I really appreciate all of you guys, whether you're silent and you're just watching the videos and you never say hi or text me or anything, and you're just out there kind of enjoying my madness, or those of you guys that have, you know, I definitely consider buddies and, you know, coworkers, I guess is the right term for what we are. You know, we're all, you know, we're all kind of in the same team. So I feel like you guys are all my peers. Because that's what makes this good for me, is that I know there's other people out there like me, you know, struggling some days and rocking it some days. And I enjoy that. So everybody have a great night, have a great weekend, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. So I'm taking tomorrow off to recover. So have a great Monday if you're on the road. Be safe, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Later. Bye.